what do you feel has been some of the hurdles as being part of our team here as you've grown? So you started as a content creator. We were just starting to produce content together, and then as you've grown, kind of outline the path for that. Outline your path of growth in the business that we've worked on together.
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, I think, really what it comes down to as a content creator is you're gaining experience, right? You're working with different brands, you're working with different tools. Technology is also always changing as we know now more than ever with, the the blow up of AI and NFTs and technology is just always changing. So I like to think sort of my content creation is really sort of just building that experience. Therefore, those hard skills, those technical skills that sort of come with being in this space of learning what makes a good video, learning a new editing software that makes your workflow a lot easier. I'd say from all of that experience, sort of transitioning into my managerial role, then I'd like to think I lean a little bit more on my soft skills, so sort of things you can't really teach. I really, again, owe my college education, my master's degree, as a large part as to why I'm able to sort of utilize those softer skills in what I think is a quite effective way. So it's cool to see that path that I've gone down where, in that more content creation space, it was much more on the sort of technical hard skills. Those are still with me as it's in my past. I still hold them and understand them. And so now I've kind of transitioned into more of those softer skills with leading a team, with, a lot of communication with outside partners and collaborators, and really just understanding the bigger picture, so to speak, to really, keep in this case, Sweet Baby Ray's Catering on the path that it's going.
Why don't you talk about something that we talk about all the time? Some of the challenges with our specific company and how the different brands can be challenging to kind of separate, and what has been our strategy kind of moving forward to kind of remedy some of that.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there are a couple things. First, and it does not sound any more corporate-y, but bandwidth has always been an issue for us. Just we have so many great ideas, and we know kind of what the social media landscape looks like now, and it's almost like there's a very large basket filled of ideas, but maybe the actual bandwidth and the resources and the people is maybe in a little smaller jar or something.
Not to cut you off, but I would say that just the 3 shows that we're doing on top of all the other little marketing pieces that we do with Constant Contact and everything is more, we're biting off more than we could chew on a regular basis, and then there's still more ideas on top of that.
Right. And there's some beauty in that too, because then I'd rather have that than the inverse, which would be not enough ideas and no direction and no motivation and no Northern Star. So while it is a problem, I do see it as a good problem to have, and from there you can kind of work backwards, sort of subtractive rather than adding. So here we are up here with what we think can work, but now what do we need to do to actually have it come to fruition and actually be able to execute on it? So I'd say bandwidth would be one challenge. The second challenge, which you and I talk about on a regular basis, is just regarding sort of I like to say, multifaceted nature of our company and the complexities that come with it, and the labeling and terminology that comes with the company. I think, and you've said it before too, but we really love using that Sweet Baby Ray's name as it's a household name. But I think that's also what can cause some communication issues in how we present our brand to people, because now they're saying, "Oh, you're Sweet Baby Ray's. I buy your barbecue sauce at the store all the time," and then it takes us to better communicate. Well, yes, that is in our history. Our managing partner Deuce Raymond, his father and uncle started the business, but we are no longer affiliated. But we're still kind of affiliated. But we're the catering and restaurant now. So as you can see, it's this sort of explanation with the company. It's a good problem to have because we do have that instant name recognition. But as we see it, it is also a challenge for us to properly communicate that to our ever-growing audience online.
It is. It's a tricky situation, but it's hard to get away from the vast recognition you get from Sweet Baby Ray's. Everybody knows what Sweet Baby Ray's is because it's such a large barbecue sauce brand, and we use that to our advantage. But like you said, it also kind of muddies the waters a little bit to what exactly we're trying to do. I would be, not having to do anything if I had a nickel for every time I heard, "Oh, Sweet Baby Ray's, I didn't even know you had a catering business. I didn't even know you had a restaurant." It's like, and we've been hard at it for the last 3.5 years of trying to raise recognition and trying to get the awareness out there that we do have a physical location, we do catering, and it has been challenging because of the branding. So pivot that we're looking to make in 2025 is more focused on Deuce Raymond personal brand, as well as shifting our focus from Sweet Baby Ray's catering organic reach to more of a paid program. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so first I want to just backtrack a little bit. I do see every business is going to have its unique challenges. I think
Sure.
in this case, this is our unique challenge. And if it were that easy, everybody would start $1 million business tomorrow. But so, it's much more complex than that. And that just happens to be our problem that our team is continually looking into to figure out what will work best for our communication to our audience. So then to answer your second question, which let me just state it again just to make sure I'm answering correctly, is sort of where we're moving into 2025 regarding kind of that pivot to more of the personal brand.
And
Yeah,
then
so
how we're looking at Sweet Baby Ray's catering versus where we've looked at it in the past, and our mentality shift there, and why.
Yeah, so I think I can probably use the example of what we've said before of this idea of, as the Sweet Baby Ray's entity, we kind of created this beast that we, didn't really anticipate or totally understand until now that we're here and are able to reflect and kind of see where things are going. We are very fortunate to have built a following. I think I checked this morning. If we include your brand, I think we're over 700,000 followers across all the platforms.
That's
but
crazy.
it's
That's
crazy.
actually was part of my intro that I missed. But what if you can recall, where did we start at some of those, and where are we at now? Just to
Yeah.
not to toot our own horn, but just to show people what's possible out there with the dedication and the consistency that we've been able to put into the marketing side of things.
100%. Yeah, so I believe our Instagram was 1,800 people, I want to say, when we started back in 2021. TikTok was 0. We didn't have a TikTok. Facebook was maybe had a little bit more than the other platforms, maybe like 10 or 20, 25,000 followers, if I'm not mistaken. And then YouTube, I think, was also around 5,000 or so. So probably altogether 25, 30, 35,000 followers. We've since then, this was back in 2021, we have since then grew all the platforms to over 700,000 in total. And so
It's amazing.
to kind of go off of what you were saying there, yeah, it really speaks to where the landscape is, and if you understand the landscape and how to work with that attention, then you'll start flying in these numbers that are just absolutely bonkers on a weekly basis. And we understood what we needed to do. We trialed and errored a lot to kind of get where we are now. So the power of social media is crazy, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit more later on. But yeah, so to backtrack to the initial question, we've really seen that because of this multifaceted nature of Sweet Baby Ray's catering, and because of sort of this beast we created that's more so on an international level, the algorithm is not biased to a specific location, at least organic algorithm is not. So what we're slowly starting to find is our Sweet Baby Ray's catering strategy, while it's been a beautiful strategy, we're starting to see a potential shift in, let's actually push the organic more to a personal branding approach, which would be more so under the Deuce Raymond, because then that's not limiting us to a specific geographical location. The Deuce Raymond personal organic strategy is able to be a worldwide brand through brand deals that don't require you to meet in person for a production. It means shipping a Deuce's Wild sauce or rub anywhere in the world. It means offering an online course down the road, offering merch. All these things are not restricted to a specific geographical location, which on the other side of the coin, then Sweet Baby Ray's catering is. If a barbecue connoisseur or amateur backyard barbecuer from Texas sees a post by Sweet Baby Ray's Catering, well, they're in Texas. We're not yet shipping catering to halfway across the country. So what we're slowly finding is while this strategy was beautiful and it's worked and it's opened up so many doors for us, we're really wanting to fine tune now and get more dialed in going into 2025 regarding sort of that beast that we've created under Sweet Baby Ray's Catering. How can we leverage that and pivot that slightly to be more of a evergreen, more personal first approach, while still maintaining the Sweet Baby Ray's Catering brand that's a little bit more local.
And with the local approach to Sweet Baby Ray's Catering, we are going to start using a more paid approach, meaning paid search, maybe paid social, to try to drive to a more specific audience. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. And we're also really looking to continue to foster those more local relationships. So our venues, the venue managers, the vendors who work in the wedding industry, sort of within this geographical location near Chicagoland, are really wanting to just think much more locally than, again, sort of this beast we created that is, at the end of the day, more of an international brand almost, with regard to utilizing social media as the primary form to communicate our branding.
And then is in reference to the personal brand, something that I think that is really smart about it is in the way I could talk about Sweet Baby Ray's Catering, I could talk about Deuces Wild, we could post videos about True Cuisine, which we haven't spoke about yet, but that's our wedding brand that you're also responsible for the marketing for. And whatever else is down the road, new restaurants, new courses, new videos, whatever the case may be. But where if you're just posting under Sweet Baby Ray's, it does the dots don't connect if you're talking about a wedding brand or about a course or a Deuces Wild product. Definitely sometimes is very confusing when you're posting under the Sweet Baby Ray's brand. So I feel like very confident that this will be a positive shift. And like I said, this is, we've been slowly shifting this way already, but it's going to be kind of full force in 2025.
Right, and we've looked at that as sort of the, we're pivoting that brand to be the nucleus. People buy from people, people trust people. I think a lot of companies fall into this idea of, I don't want to say hiding behind sort of this corporate look and feel, but not having that designated representative or spokesperson or just personality who is willing to sort of break that wall between corporation and consumer. I think that's where a personal brand really comes in handy, is that you are able to build trust person to person rather than setting a $20,000 budget for a 30-second commercial and hoping that people can connect at a personal level with your specific brand or company.
Can you talk about, kind of at a high level, what has been our strategy so far and what has led us down to the success that we've seen in the growth of the catering brand?
Short form video, and short form video. That has been where the attention is for the last several years. And I think a lot of businesses or even individuals sort of fall into the trap of, selling themselves. Look at all these great things we've done. Look at these techniques or skills that I've done or have. Look at these awards that I've won. I wanted to bring up this example. Deuce, I've actually never brought this up to you either, but I drive past a mechanic pretty regularly. And this kind of gets into a little bit of salesy, but I think you'll get where I'm going here. So I drive past this mechanic, and the sign outside in really big letters, and I might be paraphrasing a little bit, but I'm pretty close. It says, "Oil change, stay in your car." So now all of a sudden, rather than saying, we're the best mechanic in Chicagoland, or look at us, we can change oil better than all the other mechanics in the area. They're not pitching you the features, they're pitching you the benefits, which is, of course, like classic sales 101.
Yeah.
So now when I'm looking at that sign, oh, stay in your car, like they're telling me how it's going to save me time and save me, energy, or I don't have to think about how many accolades or awards has this company won. No, you're just saying stay in your car. Sounds good to me. I get to stay in my car. You're going to take care of my oil change, and I'll be on my way, and I get time back. Versus, I'm going to look at all these different mechanics in Chicagoland and say, oh, well, this one won this award, and this one says that this boss was, did this fancy schmancy sort of event that gives them more credibility. So I think something similar can be said to pushing short form video content creation. We've very much approached our videos in a bring value sort of ethos. We're not trying to pitch to you we're the best barbecue catering company in Chicago or the nation. We're not trying to have Deuce Raymond toot his own horn. Look at all these awards I've won. You should buy from me because I say so, and because we're so polished and put together beautiful events. You need to benefit the consumer. You need to bring value to the consumer. And something I challenge our content creators with is I always pose the question, why should they care? Right? Why should the consumer care about what we have to say? And I think it is a little bit of a harsh reality when you think, in order to get someone to trust you who, granted, they're not in your inner circle. I think your friends and family, they're always, super impressed with your accomplishments and what you've done for yourself. But in order to convince that stranger to really buy into what you are talking about or what your brand is, I think you do need to give a little. So,
Absolutely.
What we have done there is sort of a short form bring value approach. So, we can obviously get into this a little bit later, but we do different shows. We do a lot of barbecue education. Deuce is also an incredible personality on camera, which helps a lot. But, by giving value, by selling the benefits, not the features, by building that trust, not through here's why you should buy from us, but rather let me teach you something cool, or let me inspire you, or let me entertain you. That, I think, really speaks to why we've seen the success that we have seen with short form video.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Your content really has to be either educational or entertaining, or some sort of combination of both of them to really capture attention. I mean, if you just think about your own mindset when you're scrolling on Instagram or TikTok or whatever your, platform of choice is, I mean, there's so much stuff that you just scroll right by. It really has to be something, you have to have that connection. So when that one, your favorite auto mechanic shows up because you like learning from this person, then you're going to stop and listen to what he has to say. But it takes that connection to like slow people down, because you can get flooded with so much information that it's hard to break through. But once you do have a connection, then at least you have a chance of slowing that person down to watching your content, and then hopefully converting them in somehow, some shape or form to, at the very least, a regular viewer, and then ideally into a customer of some sort. We have a few different things we sell right now with catering, the restaurant, and the Deuce's Wild products. And just recently, 3 years into it, we've seen more and more conversions on the Deuce's Wild side. So I think that we're just on the tip of the iceberg with really understanding how to place, better ads, and continue. Like, we've got the organic reach dialed in, and now that there's so much, you can dive deep into the rabbit hole of paid promoting online. So that's something I'm looking forward to learning more. What's been a couple, one or two highlights working with us, and been exciting to see as we've been down this growing marketing brand journey together?
How much time do I have? No.
That wasn't on the list.
I'd say I'm ultimately just so grateful that I work for a company and work within a space that allows me the capacity to be so creative and let those juices flow, and to be in a collaborative environment working with you and other members of the team. You know, I've worked for other companies in the past where you maybe wouldn't have as much of that liberty or that say in certain things. So, you know, just the fact that it sort of really feels like I'm building something with the team is very rewarding for me, and is also, you know, helpful for myself and my career as I grow with this company. Is you know, just being able to be creative and think through new ideas and acknowledge what technology is doing and where it's evolving to and where it's innovating is really fun to kind of be at the forefront of that with regard to working for this company.
Excellent.